I'm Matt.
I'm Shane.
And if you like what you hear, make sure you hit that thumbs up button real hard, and make sure you subscribe to Comic Movie Marks.
And also click that little bell for all of the notifications.
Whee!
Always remember,
if Trailer Trash can do it,
anyone can do it.
Hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video.
Oh yeah, we have more updates to Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's gone from sick to amazing.
So Screen Rant and Mr. Stephen Colbert himself has an article called Justice League. Many people have seen the Snyder Cut, say it's amazing. Justice League stunt coordinator Eunice Huthart says many people she knows have seen the Snyder Cut and they all say it's amazing.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Pretty funny, in this article, he specifically calls out that initially there was a debate on whether or not it existed, despite ample evidence to the contrary. But Jason Momoa said he's seen it, describing it as sick. Then Snyder himself, on multiple occasions, confirms it exists, with Kevin Smith also knowing people who have seen it.
As Colbert states, I mean, it has taken some time, 2 years or more, but it's just so funny how the conversation went so much from it doesn't exist, it's unwatchable, and many other variations to now multiple people within the Zack Snyder circle are just watching it, just for shits and giggles.
Yep, he's just inviting some people over. We're still anxiously waiting our invite. Obviously, Snyder wants to do more filming. He wants to add a little bit more context. So they haven't even seen the finished version, which just blows my mind that they have seen a more finalized version than what the rest of us have seen. And it's not even the version I think that will ultimately come out eventually.
It's crazy on how much this thing is changing. And it looks like just so many things are in Snyder's favor at this point. But like Shane said, our invitation hopefully will be in the mail any day now. We're always in the neighborhood for sure, no matter what.
Yeah, you know that song by The Police, Every Breath You Take or something, I'll be watching you. Yeah, that's us. Just not creepy at all. Just we're just waiting for this damn thing to get released.
Let's get to the quote by Eunice Huthart. She's got to have a nickname. That's a tough one. Justice League stunt coordinator Eunice Huthart spoke to Screen Rant during an interview for the home release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, where she also served as stunt coordinator. When asked about the topic of the Snyder Cut, Huthart had a lot to say.
She says, yeah, there's a few questions about that, and I'm sure that I'm okay to say I officially know people who have seen the Snyder Cut and say it's absolutely amazing. And I do believe that that's the movie we were making, Zack Snyder's version of the film. With the heartache of what happened with his daughter, we pulled out and did the reshoots of it, so the movie took a slightly different turn.
It's the best thing about Planet Earth!
Pulled out, key phrase, kids. Remember that. I watched the cinema release of the film and I texted Zach to say, what the fuck? What's this I'm hearing about this Snyder Cut? I need to see it. And he did promise me next time I'm in LA that I'll go watch it. So I will at some point definitely go and watch the Snyder Cut. And I have spoken to people who actually said it's brilliant. They said it's absolutely golden.
Oh, okay.
I do like Hart's lackadaisical approach to this. Yeah, when I'm in the neighborhood, fucking get to the neighborhood. I don't know where you live. It could be across the world. Get to LA, all right? Shit. Like, yeah, he did promise me that next time I'm in LA, I'll go watch it. Well, go watch it. Son of a bitch. It's not that hard. She's probably from Austria or something. I don't know.
G'day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
And of course, Colbert says with the amount of buzz it's been getting, especially recently, it shouldn't be a surprise that crew members like Huthart are texting Snyder to try to get private screening of the now legendary cut. No problem, just come to LA from Austria. No problem. It's good times.
Exactly.
Well, that's still probably cheaper than the price that Momoa had to pay. That Q2 was expensive as hell. That's $5,000 to watch the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, and with airline fares plummeting as we speak, I'm sure it shouldn't be that hard.
I do want to go back to a comment that Mark Hughes made in August of 2019 when they were talking about Jason Momoa saying that the movie was sick. And Hughes had a comment on his Twitter saying he definitely won't be the last that has seen the Snyder Cut. And now it's just funny that we have this article about multiple people watching the movie. You know, one of the things about the Snyder Cut too is, you know, this build that's going on ever since November 17th, 2019, Z-Day. It's kind of become self-aware. And I think that's a lot of things people are trying to figure out, like what's going on. Like some of the hype has died down. What's going on? Well, I think really what happened is that impact was so hard, it became self-aware. It's part of the pop culture phenomenon. And I think that's what people just need to understand. We're at the boring part. It's negotiation time. And then as soon as it's announced, it's going to get even more boring because then Snyder's probably going to hold off on a lot of things. Maybe a picture from the set whenever he gets his additional photography. But other than that, we're probably not going to hear shit about it.
Yeah, it is kind of funny that most of the arguments have seemed to die down for the most part. I mean, there's still the occasional idiot out there. The people, the naysayers that were saying, no, it doesn't exist, that's kind of subsided a little bit. And it's more so of like, okay, well, are we going to see it? When are we going to see it? And more information, more set photos, things like that keep coming out. So now it's hard to deny. And I think that's also where a lot of the push was, a lot of the excitement was coming from, is just the battles, the daily battles back and forth of no, it doesn't exist and yada, yada, yada. As Matt said, we're not necessarily in the home stretch, but we're getting there. And obviously news has kind of slowed a little bit on the Snyder Cut, and he's still releasing some images, but not as much as he was before.
And also to what Shane said, the fact that the movie might change so much from what he's showing now because of additional photography and all these changes that he's going to make. I think what a lot of people are missing is that now he's dealing with Warner Max. He's not dealing with Warner Brothers, which is a completely different division. He's not dealing with those same executives that may have a little bit of distrust or just, you know, stubbornness, can't swallow their pride, amongst many other things.
Phrasing.
So now he's dealing with a whole different division. That's looking at numbers, basically. Like, how much do we have to spend for this? This movie's already in post-production. I mean, there is some additional photography. These executives are in charge of HBO Max, which needs to be a success. And with the Mandalorian's season finale, Disney Plus kind of trickled out a little bit. Some of its revenue dropped a little bit because people unsubscribed. So HBO Max is learning their lesson from what Disney Plus was doing. They're hoping to keep that content flow as consistent as possible. He just needs to get that figured out. And of course, this virus thing slowed things down. And it's going to be on HBO Max. I don't know if anybody doubts that anymore. It may or may not have some kind of theatrical release. And as Snyder tries to keep the hype up as much as possible for us fans, he released an image yesterday saying The Five. So they're looking at a hologram of Steppenwolf's base, kinda. Again, some very previs stuff. Ray Fisher doesn't even have any CGI work done to him on this one. And then the image they're looking at is very previs, even though Aquaman is trying to be cool and not really technically look at the image.
Yeah, that's Jason Momoa as Aquaman for you. I'm too cool for this. I'm just about to drop in and whoop some ass. That's all I need.
So also, when dropping that picture, we had some interaction with Snyder. Well, not us personally. It's okay.
It's fine. He's ghosting us, all of our texts that we keep shooting him.
So with the comment being, this is the 5, one person asked, Superman is 6, then 7 is, ? And he replied, the green, ...
The green what?
Hornet. That's right. Seth Rogen's Green Hornet is gonna be in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Confirmed.
Man, you heard it here first. I'm so stoked for that.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
One other comment that I thought was kind of interesting was, it says I think it's supposed to be want, but I want to see Zack's Cyborg so bad. Zack Snyder just posted he is a badass. Not only is he the heart of the movie, but apparently he's the badass of the movie as well. It kind of reminded me of that video from the Justice League stunt team that posted on YouTube a while back, and there's clearly some stunt work being done with a 4-armed type cyborg, which is what we saw in the concept art, which we didn't think would actually be in the movie. If the stunt team that was working with Zack Snyder on Justice League is doing choreography for a 4-armed cyborg, that tells me in Zack Snyder's Justice League, there's going to be a 4-armed cyborg.
Oh man, which with that, the possibilities are endless. You know, the way he pieces together fight scenes and the way that it just comes across, thinking about like Batman's warehouse scene in Batman vs. Superman, I'm sure it would have been, or is going to be, not would have been, is going to be fucking awesome.
And then there was another comment asking about the CGI on the picture, and he basically said the CGI wasn't finished on this shot and a couple other ones, but most of it's done. It was kind of a rough summary of what he said. We already knew that. We know there's some shots that need some work on it for the most part, but I don't even really think that's a big deal at this point. But it does surprise me at this point. Some of the images he has shared with us, it's kind of surprising what CGI isn't done sometimes. Like this, for instance, this is the final. This is the final battle, or going into the final battle. Why wouldn't Cyborg CGI work be done? Why wouldn't this hologram be done? And so it's kind of funny to me that is one thing missing. Or the other one that I thought was kind of interesting from a while back was the He Has Yet to Rise one, when that background is pretty previs as well. I mean, like the green screen is still visible by his hand. Just look at Superman's hand. The green screen is still there. It's very choppy. So it's kind of funny to me, like the beginning of the movie, near the end of the movie, doesn't seem to have a lot of CGI work done that he shared anyway, because even the Wonder Woman head slicing is all previs. It's kind of funny to me. It's like the middle of his movie is probably fucking done, but that beginning and end needs some work for the most part.
I also wonder how much he's just trying to leave it up to imagination. Maybe it is done and he's just throwing out like some of the stuff before it was completed, just so a kind of a teaser, but not actually giving away the entire scene. I also did think it was kind of funny. A lot of people look into a lot of these pictures a little too much. For example, when we started getting like Happy 214 Day and some of the other stuff, like with Alfred, they're like, oh, they're in color now. That must mean we're getting close. And then all of a sudden he goes back to black and white. It's like, don't look into it too much. Just enjoy the image for what it is. It's still pretty cool. More stuff coming from this movie, but try not to try to figure out, look, because it's in color, that must mean that we're close to actually getting the finalized version.
So that'll wrap up our episode about the Snyder Cut. A little bit of a recap. Kind of fun to go back to it once in a while. Again, this is going to be the boring part, guys. He's in negotiations. He's trying to figure out his stuff. Of course, the Bud Light infection is going to slow things down a little bit, unfortunately. But that's how things go sometimes. But be patient. Don't lose hope. All that good stuff. It's coming, and it's something that's going to truly revolutionize how things are done in the business, because this lost director's cut that some higher ups in WB never wanted to see the light of day, that tried so hard to block it, is more than likely going to be released on their premier streaming service, just to give them a big fuck you.
You just want to say, fuck you. Oh, fuck you, fuck you.
If you like what we say, guys, we got a Patreon in the description. There's a link. Help us out if you can. Anything you can provide, $1, 50 cents. I don't know how low Patreon goes. If you could do a penny, go for it. Canadian dollars, we'll take that as well. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to this video. YouTube's algorithm's choking the shit out of our chickens right now.
Yeah, it's been a while, but we appreciate still all of the interaction that we get. We get still a substantial amount of comments, even though our views aren't quite up there. But as always, we appreciate the support. And as Matt said, anything you can do really helps us out. Matt's been putting in a lot of effort into some of the editing, well, a lot of effort for us, but into some of the editing and really trying to utilize different tools and things like that. That's where your money is going, to help our presentation and really deliver the best product to you guys. So thanks again for your support, and anything you can do really helps.
In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.